Hello everyone, my name is Hussam Hilal. I'm Cloud Solution Architect at Microsoft. In a previous video, I have demonstrated the ability of integrating Azure VMware Solution (AVS) with Azure native services, such as Azure Storage Account, leveraging Azure Private Endpoint and Azure Private DNS zones. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate another use case showing the ability of integrating Azure VMware Solution with Azure Application Gateway. It is a web traffic load balancer that enables internet access to your workloads that are hosted in AVS, while increasing resiliency, high availability, and security posture of your applications. So let's get started. When migrating or creating your workloads in AVS, you're probably going to need a load balancer for your application. There are three main options for that purpose. First option is the Application Gateway, that's an Azure PaaS service. Second option is a logical load balancer at the NSX Tier 1 gateway. And third option is an OVA virtual appliance that you can deploy at the ESXi Hosts, set up and configure as your load balancer. In this video, I'm going to focus on the use case of using Azure Application Gateway. It's a native PaaS service in Azure. It is dedicated and deployed within a subnet in a virtual network. It requires three main components to have the basic functionality working. Component number one is the front end. Component number two is the backend pool. And number three, which is not showing in this diagram, is a routing rule. And that routing rule is required to enable the connection between the front end and the backend pool. For example, for HTTP or HTTPS traffic. Now in this case, for the front end, we have chosen to use public IP address because we want to allow internet access for the application that's hosted in AVS. So the web traffic in this use case is going to go from the users or consumers of that web application that are coming through the internet. You're going to hit the public IP address, go to the application gateway. That's where the routing rules will be processed, and then the traffic will go through from the application gateway the applications that are hosted in AVS. Next in the demo, I'm going to show the details of how to configure the application gateway to have this functionality working. I'm going to start here by creating a new application gateway. I click Add, specify subscription and resource group, give it a name, select the region. It's important to mention here that the region has to be the same as the region of the virtual network that's connected to your AVS environment. For the tier, I'm going to select the WAF. In this case, I'm leveraging the web application firewall functionality on this application gateway. So you see here the firewall status is enabled and it's in detection mode. Here I pick up the virtual network, and of course I have to pick up my subnet. If you don't have it, you have to create it before you create the application gateway. Let's go and define our front end here. We have three options. You could have public, private, or both. In this case, I'm going to go with public for this demo. I'm going to create a new public IP address. Let's move on to the backend now. Now I need the IP addresses of my web application servers. So I need to go to AVS to grab that. Let's do that right now. Here I have already opened Azure Bastion to RDP to my jump box. My jump box, I use the web console to access the one of my web application virtual machines. As you can see here, I have IIS running. That's the one that's the web server that's running my application. If I click browse, you can see this is the local application. I can access it from the web application itself. Now here I need to type ipconfig in the console. So this is the IP actually I need to put in my backend pool. Now, of course, in your use case, you're probably going to have more than one IP for your application for scalability and for resiliency and high availability. So I'm going to grab this, go back here, create a new backend pool to give it a name. And then I need to put the IP here. Of course, you could have more than one. Now, also it's important to mention at this point that Application Gateway is the only load balancer in Azure that allows you to target private IP addresses in the backend. That's because it's a dedicated deployment at the subnet. So basically, whatever the subnet can reach out to, this Application Gateway can reach out to. So our subnet here through the VNet has a connectivity with AVS, so that's why I can hit the AVS servers from this virtual network. So I click Add and go to the next configuration. Now we have the front end created with the public IP address, the backend with the IP address of my application at AVS. Last thing I have to define is the routing rules. So we'll go through this quickly. Just give it a name here. We need to create a listener and then select the public IP or the public front end that we have here. And we also have to define the backend targets. So here we need to select the backend pool and then create a new HTTP setting. In this case, we'll just keep it very basic on port 20. And click add on this one and click add on this one, and we're ready to go. Next is define the tags. After we define the tags, if any, we're gonna go and create the application gateway. Now I have already done that. So if I go back to my application gateway blade, I see the one I already created. It has a public IP address already assigned. One more thing I have done, which is optional in this demo, but I have a DNS, public DNS zone that I own, and it's called Eureka Demo. And I created an alias record for AVS test. So, and I gave it the IP address of the application gateway. So if I go here and type avs test.eureka.demo, as you can see, I can access the application that's hosted in AVS. And if I try to use the IP itself directly, I will get to the same page as well. I hope this demo was helpful to you. So stay tuned for more videos, and thank you for watching this video.